Welcome, Chiefs Kingdom to Tell the Truth Podcast, Episode 3. I'm your host, CJ, with my dog, DG. DG, we back at another one.
Yo,
Another Victory Monday, Victory Tuesday now, you did, with a short week. We got the
yes, sir.
Donkeys coming in town this week, so you know it's going to be a big one. But
Yes,
DG, give me
sir.
your thoughts, overall feelings. 4-1, top of the AFC. How you feeling so far, Brody?
Yeah, feeling good. Got the dub. It's not always as pretty as we want it to be. I think we've gotten to the stages in Chiefs Kingdom where we're a little spoiled. We
Just a
expect
little bit.
we expect to put up 40, 30, 40 points every game,
40
but that's
balls,
not
you
gonna
did.
happen. But I'm man, I don't really care. Just get W's. That's the only thing I care about. Get the
No, fact.
win, get out of there remotely healthy, which we were able to do, especially playing on that kind of field.
Mhm.
Getting that scare with Trav there in the
Hey,
middle of the game was a little, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I was praying, dog. Like
bro, thank
I was
God.
trying to be, I was trying to be calm in front of wifey, bro. But I was like
Chill.
when he went down, I was sitting there, I'm
Oh,
stuck,
Lord
bro. 'Cause
God.
I'm like, oh my god, if he go down, yeah, I don't know, fam. Like,
It's gonna get scary. You feel
yeah,
me?
yeah. So
No,
I
the
mean,
football guys were looking out, man. Thankfully, A7 is good. Big Yeti was back at practice today. Had the right ankle taped up. He was limping around on Sunday, but he always says all heart, and that's what he definitely pulled it out on Sunday. So
yeah, yeah,
shout out to 87, man.
right. Yeah, he looked good. He looked good running out there on the field today. So
No, absolutely.
hopefully he's healthy and ready to go. I know he's gonna try to give it his all or whatever. You kind of feel like they might have him on a little bit of a snap count,
Just a
just to
tad bit, yeah.
yeah, just to
Especially
make
if we get
sure.
a lead.
Right.
Hmm.
I'm just glad
Absolutely.
we back on grass, bro. Like
Facts.
as long
Back on
as
our home turf, you feel me? None of that
right,
artificial stuff, you dig?
yeah,
So,
man. But let's
all right,
let's get
what we get
into it.
into it first? What we get into first, man?
So as always, we kind of just jot down some notes. D Mac is usually here to do all this
We
and
gave
kind of
D-Mac the
host,
day off. You feel
right?
me?
So
PTO.
hopefully he's enjoying his day off or
We
whatever.
get
But
PTO. We get PTO over here at Kingdom Cast. So
right,
we got to
but
talk to Chuck Country about our benefits.
I guess we'll start off with the defense, and our overall takeaways. Kind of one of the points we wanted to hit at today was um, is Trent McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed a top five tandem?
Lock. Lock.
Are
Hey, I was telling them before the season, DG, All Pro Trent is on the way. I know it's early. We only in week 6, you feel me? Got a lot more work to do. You know the slogan, the work always come first. But so far, you can't give me 5, even 3 corners playing better than Trent McDuffie right now. And I think the world's kind of catching on to that notion, what we've been saying, to DG's point, during the whole offseason and to the 6 weeks into the season. He's one of the best tacklers on our team. He's one of the best cover corners, and he's a guy that hardly is ever in a wrong position from not making a play. So, and he's creating turnovers. So, I don't know how much more you can ask from Trent McDuffie right now, man.
right? Yeah, man. Him and L'Jarius continue to show me why they are the top in the top five these last couple of weeks, man. I think it's kind of funny because it's two kind of totally two different skill sets.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, L'Jarius is a little bit more physical. He brings that physical aspect of getting up at the line and kind of frustrating guys and just you know bullying guys at the line. And
Facts.
you can
Getting your
tell
hands on people.
Trent is more a little sticky coverage, can do blitz and get to the quarterback as well as stay in somebody's hip pocket as well. So it works hand in hand with both of them, and I think that's what makes them. It's gonna make them a great tandem. What did you see in this game that they kind of helped them to slow down Justin Jefferson, especially early on?
Overall, they did a lot of things we asked before the game started. Keep a safety over the top. Saw a lot of Mike Edwards make a great play on the sideline ball and try to make it tough on anything Justin Jefferson gets thrown his way because we know how talented of a player he is. He's arguably the best receiver in the league. So it's never an easy day when you're covering a guy like him because he's so versatile. You can play in the slot or outside. But to your point, DG, we have 2 corners that we're very confident in that can play both in the slot and outside the numbers. We haven't had that in a very long time. Even back to the days when I was talking to Chris about this earlier the other day, even back in the Brandon Flowers days, Marcus Peters, Brandon Carr, Sean Smith, like Rashad Breeland, we've always had maybe 1 dependable corner, even Charvarius Ward at times, but we've never had two legit CB1s, and now we have that right now in Kansas City. So when you have that much confidence, it makes it so much easier as a play caller from Spag's perspective. When you know either side of the field, we don't really have to flip corners like we used to because I'm comfortable with either guy getting that matchup. So the guys did their thing. They tackled well, they covered, they stayed in phase. Snead got called for a couple penalties, but I'd rather a cornerback be aggressive rather than letting the receiver bring the fight to him. So hey, he's putting his hands on him at the line, and you know when the receivers don't like when they get jammed up in the chest. So when you got Jack Boy Snead out there getting his hands on you, getting physical, I like that energy. I want my DB to always be on edge and bringing the fight to the other team. So I love it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it seemed like to me early on the message was to get up on the line.
Dale Carter, yes, sir.
Yeah, to get up on the line and be really physical, especially with Jettis early on. I think L'Jarius had a hands to the face penalty within like first couple plays or something like. But you could clearly tell it was time. It was set the tone, send a message, and let them know, like we here today. And it's gonna be a long day for you, buddy.
Yeah.
So Jettis was definitely out there in Alcatraz on Rikers Island, hollering out CO, and they put that boy in the pen, and it was lovely to see. With that being said, I think the next thing we wanted to kind of talk about was the level of concern with the pass rush. Outside of Chris Jones, how do you feel like this pass rush can get the job done? Can these other guys kind of step up and make some plays? We can obviously see Mike Dana kind of stepping up and making some plays as well. But then George Karlaftis is, I think he's still top 5 in the league in pressures. There, but it kind of seemed like on Sunday we were kind of trying to get a little bit more pressure with more of our blitz packages and things of that nature. Kind of losing some of those one-on-ones because I know I seen Chris getting double teamed a lot. So what do you feel like we can do to kind of to make that look a little bit better?
We didn't blitz as much on Sunday as I would have liked for sure. But overall, I think we could have kind of mixed it up in some blitz packages, maybe given some different looks, like with slanting and stuff like that. And the crazy thing is, DG, I know it didn't look that well, but Mike Dana's having a career year. He has 3.5 sacks now, the most sacks he's ever had in his career up to this point through the first 5 weeks. So I think Chris Jones is at 4.5 sacks so far. So he's on pace for another 15-plus sack season, which is definitely good for him in his contract situation. So it didn't. I thought we would get a lot more pressure than we did on Sunday for sure. But Minnesota's a team that loves to get the ball out quick and get rid of it. There were a couple of times I thought we could have got off blocks, and that could be some fatigue and guys getting tired and things of that sort. But it's definitely was more like not necessarily concerning because when we needed to get the play, like you said, Mike Dana made it to win the game and close it out. And those are we're kind of in that mode where like all of our games, we want to be dominant on both sides of the ball. That's what we strive for. But at the end of the day, DG, we know ugly wins still count as wins at the end of the day. So as much as I want to have 5 plus 6 sacks every game, that's not necessarily going to be the case. And obviously, we're not fully healthy. We got one more week, guys. One more week until Charles is back. He's tweeting out. We're all super excited. I know he can't wait to chomping at the bit to get back out there. So it's going to be super exciting to see what this D-line group's now. But so far, so good. Mike Dana's having a career year. George Karlaftis, like you said, is top 5 in pressures. Chris Jones is still arguably the best defensive tackle in football. I think he leads the league for defensive tackles and sacks. And he, like you said, it felt like he kind of took the last 2 games off on a snap count per basis. So the defensive line is still playing good football. Just our standards are a little higher because we expect more out of this group. And I think they've met those standards. And like this, there's still a lot more work to do. So I think so far so good for the D-line.
Yeah, I think for me, man, the pass rush, I think I'm really not concerned a whole bunch with. I think they kind of started off the year kind of like this last year. It was kind of a slow build, and then towards the middle of the year, they kind of picked it up, and you start seeing the numbers kind of go up there. And you ended up finishing second in the league in sacks, which a lot of people didn't expect us.
That was crazy.
Expect us to do. I think they still kind of had that potential to do that this year, especially with getting Charles Omenihu back. I think he adds a plethora of versatility to this line, the way he can rush from the outside and go into the inside. I think he obviously will make some of our younger players a lot better, and Karlaftis and FAU, allowing them to kind of get some of the more one-on-one, and also being able to keep Chris from getting double teamed. so much.
Facts. That's
So
the big one right there.
for me, I see the growth in this. I appreciate that Chuck. Chuck said he
Yeah,
got the
Chuck.
comments.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, I see the growth in this defensive line. I think they got a lot of potential to still be one of the better lines in the league, and then also the linebackers as well, being able to help them out with that. What did you think about Leo sack on
That was dope. That was
third
dope to
down?
see. Especially,
Right.
it was off the edge on the blitz. Yeah, I remember that one. That's kind of how the edge, that's kind of his role for this defense. He's not necessarily like a true edge pass rusher, but in certain situations where you get him matched up with an edge or a tackle or maybe a back or a tight end in a situation like that, where he can use his strength and his speed to get there in short area quickness, he went in there and made a play. So shout out to Spags, shout out to Leo for putting him in a position where he can succeed and use his strength. So that's definitely positions I want to see him in man on the line of scrimmage, letting him make plays. That's where he's best used at for sure, and he definitely did it on Sunday.
It seems like all these young guys are kind of stepping up. Year or two, you can kind of tell they're a lot more comfortable being in this
Absolutely.
defense and knowing what their job and their assignment is. But
Mm-hmm.
also, we got to talk about some additions that we had in this offseason that have kind of helped us as
Man,
well. The signing of Mike Edwards, I think, has really, really changed this defense and giving them a kind of that free range safety that can kind of play both sides of the field, get to some throws that a lot of safeties can't be able to get to, and be a ball hawk out there. What do you feel like the impact has been of the Mike Edwards signing so
no
far?
fact. I said in the offseason, besides Drew, that was probably going to be the biggest signing for this team of anything else we brought in, because I don't think a lot of people remember when we played him in the Super Bowl, he was everywhere on the field. Like, I know like Winfield Jr. is the one that gets a lot of the attention for that secondary for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but Mike Edwards was everywhere. I think he had a career year last year in picks and the sacks the last couple of years he's been in Tampa. So he was one of the better ball hawking safeties in the league, not just in the NFC at all, period. So when we picked him up, I was super excited to get him because we know how Spags is in his three safety looks. And obviously we lost Juan Thornhill, so that role needed to be replaced and solidified. And we brought in guys like Shamari Connor through the draft. But when you have a guy like Mike Edwards, you truly can allow him to play on the back end and play deep DG. And you can allow guys like Brian Cook and Justin Reed to roam, be in front of the ball and try to cover like backside of the backfield, tight ends, and do things of that sort. Because Mike is truly comfortable playing anywhere on the field, whether it be deep third, in the box, covering a slot receiver, slot tight end. He really can do it all. He's a ball hawk. I think most of the tip passes we've had this year, he's always around the ball. You even heard a clip on the franchise episode. Pat said it himself. Mike is always around the ball. He's a true ball hawk and safety. So that's one of the best signings we've had this offseason. It's paying dividends already.
Yeah, I think what I like most for him is that there's not a ton of pressure on him to go out there and
Absolutely.
be an all pro or anything, like, because the safety group I think has a lot of depth within it to help alleviate that some. So it looks like it's allowing him, like Ross said, just to be a lot more comfortable, play his game. He almost had that pick on
Man,
the
right
on the
there. He was
sideline.
right there over the top. Right there.
Right. And I was mad because I was like, Trent kind of messed it up for him, man. Like,
trying to make the play.
yeah, like, come on, man. You gotta let him come down with that, man.
You feel me?
You gotta
But see,
let
that's
him
good
come
though.
down.
That's good though.
Right, yeah. So I love the cohesion, and especially the secondary is playing with. I think this is probably, bro. This probably might be the best secondary we've had.
Yeah, bro. It's been a
And
while.
a
We've never
very
had like a
long time.
complete rotation for all like safety and corner. It's always been
Right.
like one unit is lacking. Now we have like everything. Same thing I
Right.
said about the linebacking group, bro. When you have depth, DG, that makes everybody's job so much easier because we said it in the space in Ross's space the other day. Nobody has to overexert themselves. You know what your role is in this defense.
Yeah.
Your role this week is to cover. Your role this week is to make tackles in the box. And when you have your role set, you don't have to overexert yourself or try to go outside of what you do. So having four linebackers you can play, having four safeties when Shamari Connor gets his opportunities as well to play, it makes everybody's job that much easier because you can rotate, guys stay fresh, and Mike Edwards is making a play on the ball every week. So he already has an interception. So should have had two on Sunday, but Trent and him were obviously fighting for who wants to pick. So hopefully we can get another one on Thursday versus the Donkeys back in Arrowhead. So
Speaking of safeties, are we ready to apologize to Justin Reed? Do we owe Justin Reed an apology?
You see, the thing about Justin Reed is the reason a lot of people in Chiefs Kingdom are upset with him at times, DG, is his play at times it can be questioned. It's the money. If he didn't get paid that much money in free agency, I don't think people would be upset about Justin Reed. It's because we gave him a 3-year deal, I believe, when we signed him from Houston,
3 years,
and he
like
got a
30
lot of
million.
money in free. But that's why I was having a conversation with some fans today. Free agency is meant for overpay. It's not fair, and I agree. Like, well, we paid you all this money. Why aren't you balling? Just because you get paid a free agent doesn't mean he's going to be an All Pro. Let's get that first. Like, get out the way. So, Justin Reed is a serviceable safety. He's a solid tackler. That's one thing he's definitely improved at this year. Not as many missed tackles as he used to have. And coverage is still his weakness. We all knew that coming into the season. But overall, he's played better than he did last year. And you could tell getting more comfortable, more chemistry, more cohesion with Spags and the calls. And he's getting better week by week. Is he where he wants to be or where we want him to be? By no means. He still has a long way to go. But like you said, we got to give him his credit when he does something right. And he's making plays. He's making open field tackles. Still got some things to clean up in coverage. But overall, I think he's having a solid year, solid average year so far. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I think for Reed.
Don't block me, Justin. I ain't say nothing.
Right. I think for Justin, the expectations of him getting signed were kind of the same, similar expectations of when we signed Tyron, but but a lot of people not knowing that they're kind of two different players.
Yeah.
Tyron's more of a ball hawk, that guy who made more plays on the ball versus who can create turnovers versus a guy like Justin Reed, who, like you said, he's going to do his job, come down, play in the box, hit.
I said the same thing, Kyle.
Right. Play close to the line. Yeah, I don't think he got crazy money either. But I think that was just
they hear free agency, they go crazy.
And you when Tyron came in, he kind of set a standard that like this is what you're getting. And
that's a hell of a player to follow. Follow Tyrann Mathieu. If you thought Justin Reed was gonna be Tyrann Mathieu, you're sadly mistaken. Like, he was never gonna be that. So
exactly. I think the expectations was kind of lofty.
Yeah, you know how that goes.
So but I'm proud of. I will be the one for Chiefs Kingdom. I'll apologize to you, Justin. We just all wanted to see you make more plays on the ball, create more turnovers, and just go out there and help us win. But I want you to continue to keep doing what you're doing if he ever watches this.
Keep balling, Jay Reed. Keep balling, boy. We here. We see you.
With that being said, also, if people don't know, the Chiefs are a top 5 scoring defense.
Hey, say that again, DG. They didn't hear you. Say it again.
The Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs, the 2023 Kansas City Chiefs defense is a top 5 scoring defense.
That's another banger, man. Shout out to Beach. Shout out to Spags. You feel me?
Right. I would like to tell the haters, we told you so. We definitely told you, because we were talking about that all training camp. A lot of people said it.
We were saying top 5. They didn't believe it, DG.
Through 5 games, the Chiefs are a top 5 scoring defense. I don't think I've been able to ever say that ever.
Right. Like, it's been a while since like Tom Bobley, Justin Houston.
Yeah, like
it's been like almost a decade. It's been a while. It's been
a minute. It's been a minute. So for them to achieve something of that nature is incredible. I think,
and we have one of the youngest defenses too in the league as well. So
is this the first time in Pat's career? I think
for like Pat defense, the best defense he had for Pat since 2018 was probably the 19 defense. When we first signed Frank and Tyron, that's probably the best defense Pat has played with. So right now, this is definitely the best one in the Pat era for sure. Easy.
A long way from 2018, bro. So,
boy, with complete opposite spectrums. 2018 was like 32, 31, bottom in every category. So
for all you Veach haters out there, this is your place.
Hey, I have apology letters like typed up MLA format. If you guys are ready, I can send them out, email, Twitter or DM. It don't matter. So.
Right. But man, let's get into the offensive side of the ball, because that seems to be the topic of discussion within the kingdom right now. a lot of people are voicing their opinions about what's going on. It seemed as though the offense kind of came out in the first half of this last game and was kind of sluggish at first, but then it seemed like they found some rhythm in the second half. What do you think changed from first half to second half that kind of got them in more of a rhythm? Especially with Travis.
I like it when we go tempo. I know we try to run the ball and establish Pacheco, and there are weeks, and I think this Thursday is a week to do that. But against a team like obviously the Vikings, and even this week with the Broncos. Those are two of the worst teams in the league as far as completions and completion percentage. So you're going to have your opportunities to complete the ball. And I think when you have a good play, and I feel the frustration from a lot of Chiefs fans when we have a great receiver make a play, such as like Justin Ross or whoever, whether it be Sky Moore, Rashee Rice, whoever it is makes a play, then they get pulled. That's when like the frustration comes out. Cause like you make a play and then they're on the sideline when rather you keep those guys in there, maybe go tempo and get that rhythm going so they can get that chemistry with Pat. Because like, DG, it's hard to build chemistry with anybody if you play 2 plays, come out, play 3 plays, come out, then you sit for a quarter, and then it's kind of hard to stay in rhythm. So rather than everybody knows Trav gets the bulk of the snaps every week, and then you have other guys like MBS, Sky, Rasheed, and it kind of trickles all the way down. So for any player, you want to get time to get your feet wet and get your rhythm, because practice reps are only practice reps. You can throw a ball a million times, but it's nothing like a live game rep to get your confidence for you and Pat. And obviously, we have some plays that we'll definitely talk about to see guys getting on chemistry. But overall, the offense is getting better slowly but surely. We even saw the drive when Trav went out. We moved the ball down the field with 2 big catches by Justin Watson. Yeah. I know everybody was kind of off on him this offseason, but he somehow, some way, everybody has a favorite receiver in this group. You notice that, DG? Everybody has their little group of guys they like. Some people like Sky, some people like Rasheed, some people like J. Watt, some people like Justin, some people like MVS. Everybody has a receiver they like and they hate the other ones, which I get, and I think it's funny. But at the end of the day, these guys make plays when the time comes. I know it may not be when you want it to, but we saw MVS go out there have 100 yards on the Bengals in the biggest game of the season. Has one of their linebackers, I think it was Pratt, saying this is Tyreek for him. I ain't never thought I'd see that in my life. So I know it's not the most ideal situation for this offense, and it's definitely frustrating, and we want to expect more. But at the end of the day, it is only week 6, and we play 17 games, people. We're not even halfway through the season yet. So it's going to look a lot different after the bye, which is week 10, I believe, after we play the Dolphins. Yep.
Yeah. I was happy that in the second half they just decided to go to their quick passing game.
Exactly.
Which, in my opinion, helped them.
That's usually what you have to do.
Right.
Yeah.
It to me is just make the decision. Like, we've seen early on. I think there was some times where Pat was trying some shot plays, trying to get on the board early, maybe build a lead and things of that nature. But then you see that always doesn't work. And sometimes you just have to take what's in front of you. And I think in the second half they kind of had that mindset that let's just go ahead, take what's in front of us. Take the 6 yards, take the 7 yards, move down the field, and go soar. I think that's ultimately what helped them get in the rhythm. I think another reason what helped them get into a rhythm was Rashee Rice came to play.
Rashee been getting in rhythm. That's facts.
Right.
Been getting in rhythm.
It seemed like this was arguably one of his better games of his very short career so far. But it got in the end zone again, and I think he's kind of establishing a chemistry and a relationship with Pat that may, work really well for the future. What are your thoughts on him so far through this season?
No, Rasheed's definitely getting comfortable. He's kind of broken that stigma of like rookie receivers with under Andy Reid, right? Mm-hmm. All the work he got in the offseason with the pre-draft work with, obviously he worked with Shane. They both went to SMU. He obviously went to Texas with all the other receivers, and I think he's paying off because he's kind of gotten more integrated in the system. And eventually that rookie stigma is going to break off, and Rasheed's kind of breaking that mold right now. He's definitely a guy that's playing a lot in the slot, and they're kind of giving him that opportunity. And obviously he's taking advantage of it. And there's mistakes here and there. There was one play he ran a post on the backside and he slowed down, and Pat looked at him like, hey, if you keep running, that's 6 in the back of the end zone. So but every week you could tell he's getting more and more comfortable with the offense, getting more and more comfortable with Pat. So, and eventually we knew this rookie receiver and Mahomes and Andy Reid, eventually one of these guys is going to pop. Yeah. And if Rasheed Rice happens to be the one, then hey, we'll all be happy and glad to see it happen, because we've been wanting to see that happen for forever. Because all the receiver track records for Andy Reid going back to Philly, it's not a good thing overall. It's a body yard kind of finding guys to get consistent average play, but outside of veterans, it's the younger receivers that struggle. So overall, Rasheed's done a great job. I love to see what he's doing after the catch. The only issue I would complain about is just the drops, and that's any receiver what you would complain about. But I'm sure it's like the obvious. I don't got to tell him to focus on that. He knows what to do. So no drop last week, which was good. That's 1 week down. Keep it going. But then definitely want to see more reps for him, and definitely see more reps with Justin Ross and all the young guys. I think they're all getting slowly more comfortable with the offense. Still some little things to work on, but every week we're seeing little things get improved and little things get better. So it's a marathon. I know people want the whole thing to be fixed in a week, and I do too, but that's not reality. So we got a lot more weeks to go. So it's looking good so far.
All right, let me ask you this. 2nd and 17. Did you really think they was throwing to Justin Ross?
I thought it was going. I thought it was going to
Be
be MVS. I ain't gonna
honest.
lie. I was like, they ain't gonna. I definitely think they would let him go deep. But you saw how easy it was, bro. Like the
Right.
showed him. He was
Right.
just throwing it up. He was like, oh, easy. I'm like, we could do that whenever we want.
Right.
We could do that whenever.
That play happened. I'm like, when Pat started throwing it, I'm like, okay, is he? This must be for Watson or
MVS, like a
MVS
deep
or something like that.
side.
And then when I seen 8 go up, I'm like, who is? Oh,
And
that's
he
Justin
snagged
Ross.
it. It was so easy too. He said, "Give me that." You feel me,
You see?
bro?
Wait,
Jay Ross is gonna be so nice in his own. Once he gets like fully, and you can kind of tell like every week his snap count's going up and his target share is going up. But it's just there's so many guys in his receiver room. But once we get to that bye, you have that week off for the receivers, for Andy, for Nagy to look at all the film and all the data and say, "Hey, this is what this guy does well. This is what these guys don't do well." And now we can know what we can do and we cannot do. It'll be so much better flowing for that receiver room once they establish the roles. I still think they're in this musical chair moment of like, all right, MVS, you get snaps, Sky, you get snaps, Rasheed, you get snaps, Jay Watt. And I agree, it does kind of feel weird. It's like, why is Justin Ross only getting 3 to 4 snaps a game? And he made one of the easiest catches on the field. And I agree, I think he should be playing more. But at the same time, they're still in that trial and error mode. And even in this trial and error, DG, we're still 4-1. If it hadn't been for a dumb drop, we'd be 5-0 right now. So the offense has nowhere near looked as good as it should be. We all agree with that. But we're still 4-1, top of the AFC, and still figuring out ways to win ball games, even when you're not playing pretty. That's another thing, because we saw the Ravens this past weekend go into Pittsburgh, have 8 drops. They lost that game.
Right.
We haven't been playing well on offense. We're still figuring out ways to win. Usually good teams figure out a way to do that when you're not playing your best ball. So I got to give us credit for that. And it's kind of like the same thing last year. And it's like for all you people who love Juju now, last year, y'all didn't have that same energy in training camp. I remember those conversations.
I remember there were some Juju haters.
You feel me? Now everybody's like, "Oh, I want Juju back, and I miss him, and he's so consistent." Y'all didn't think he was worth a nickel when we signed him, but now you want him back. And DG was with me at training camp, so he knows these conversations we had. He heard them. I know I'm not lying, but it's funny. So it always that's how it always goes. This group of receivers is definitely underwhelming, as people would say. But at the end of the day, I trust 15. I trust 87. This O-line is arguably the best in the league in pass pro, and we'll figure out ways to make plays when we need to. It's a long season, so I'm not trying to be too critical because it's only week 6. We did the same thing last year with that group, and look where we ended up. So they've earned the right to get some grace from me, and we haven't even made it to the bye yet. So a lot of football left.
Speaking of 15. I think this is, this podcast is definitely called Tell the Truth. And, we do nothing but telling the truth around here. So nobody gets any grace around here. We need to have a discussion about 15.
Yeah. It's fair. It's cool.
There are some throws and some plays, and especially me and CJ, were going back and looking on film. He's missing some guys.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's lack of trust or just him maybe having just too much chemistry with Trav. But there are times where I feel like I understand him and Trav being on the same page. I feel like there are some times where he trusts Trav a little bit too much.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of bothersome because there are guys that are getting open and he's not giving them the ball. And I know if I see it, he definitely has to see it. And I know if I see it as well, I know Andy is seeing it as well. I seen you that play early on in the first quarter, I think in one of our first drives where he tried to throw that jump ball to Trav in the end zone. And Trav almost came down with it. Like, that's just how special 87 is, But at the same time, Noah Gray is literally wide open in the flat. With nobody around him, he could have ran for almost 20. He almost probably could have scored on that play.
Absolutely.
I just think there are points and times where Pat it gets a little bit too locked in on Trav and it's not looking at some of these other guys. And I think that's what's kind of leading to a little bit of the offensive struggles. What are your thoughts on all of that?
No, absolutely. It's fair. This entire offense hasn't been the best, like you said, DG, and nobody's above reproach when it comes to critique of an offense. And if you ask any of the coaches, they'll tell you the same thing. That means 15, 87, anybody on the offense, nobody's above critique and telling you what you're doing right or what you're doing wrong. And 15 is the best quarterback in the league. We're not disputing that. But does he make mistakes at times? Yes. Is he human? Absolutely. He's a great player. We love him. He's the best in the business. Nobody I want the ball in their hands to win a game for us. But if he makes a mistake, it's okay to call him out. He'll call himself out. So if players do it to themselves, why is it bad for us as fans to do it? So Pat misses reads just like players drop passes. Players miss routes just like Pat misses throws sometimes. It's okay. It's part of life. You're not perfect. Do we want the mistakes to be limited, and especially not in the big moments like DG just said? Yeah, of course. But at the end of the day, if we're figuring out those kinks now in the first 6 to 7 weeks, DG, and then in the second half of the season after the bye in those last 8 games, we figure all those kinks out. Is anybody going to care that we're missing throws in week 5 or week 1 on opening night without Travis Kelce? We're not going to care because when it matters most, you know what 15 does. Mm-hmm. So it's all cute now. We remember the 2021 season when who was that? Ryan Clark or was it Dan? Darryl actually said Pat was broken.
Oh
and
yeah,
we all know how he responded to that. So he's broken. So like it's all fun and games when like we want to tell players what they do wrong, and we have our little like fan debates and things we like. But there's nothing wrong with holding a player accountable. I don't care if it's your favorite player, a starting player, or a bench. Anybody's okay to tell you what you did right or what you did wrong. But DG, my only request: keep that same energy when you're mad about a player making a mistake. When they do something correct, I need you to have that same energy you came with. Don't only be yelling when they do something wrong. Yeah. But when they're making plays, you're silent. So that's my only request.
Yeah, that would be my only thing too. Is holding, holding the best player in the world accountable, bro.
Nothing wrong with that at all. He's a big boy. He can take it.
Right, and like I said, I know if I see it, then he's definitely got to see it. And I have the utmost faith and confidence that it'll get corrected because I just know that's how great of a player he is. But that we just had to bring it to the forefront.
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
There are plays out there that Pat is really leaving on the field, and
he's even said it in the presser. Like, we're not saying anything new information. He said it himself.
Right, exactly. So that I mean that leads to, I guess, the next thing that's been the big topic in Chiefs Kingdom.
Yeah.
And Sky Moore, man. Are you still on the Sky Moore hype train?
I am still giving Sky some grace. I will admit he hasn't proved a lot of things that I wanted him to do. He's made some mistakes. I will admit that. He's also not been given the most opportunities. I think that's fair to say as well. A lot of his snaps, I would like to see him be put in better positions to succeed. I believe he's truly one of the better slot receivers on his team, but we're putting him outside the numbers a lot. And I think a lot of people realize, and there was a tweet that we posted in the summertime, I'll have to find it, but they broke down all the receiver routes you have to run from outside the numbers for the X receiver and like the Z or slot receiver in the slot. The route tree for a slot receiver is much smaller compared to an outside receiver where it's much larger in the options. So clearly, if Sky's playing this much outside, they're trusting him with that responsibility of knowing all of those routes. Right. Granted, Rashee Rice being a rookie, other guys in the slot, first year in the system, it's a lot less to memorize in this moment in time. So Rashee Rice is handling his role. Sky Moore is doing what he's doing outside the numbers. There are times when maybe him and Pat are off at times, but there are also opportunities when the Sky Moore is open and Pat overlooks him. So both things can be true. But at the same time, fans really don't care unless you see the production in the box score. So I want Sky Moore to be productive. I want him to be better as well. I'm going to hold him accountable just like everyone else does. I just want people to just be objective when we see it from the other side. To DG's point, if Pat misses reads, we have to be honest about that as well. So Sky Moore does need to be better. I'm not absolving him of any mistakes. He needs to be better. Second year in the system, he should be producing more. But at the same time, I think he needs to be in the slot more, getting some of those easier throws that Rashee Rice gets. I think those should be Sky's more. Obviously, that's just me. But I'm not mad at Rashee for getting it because I believe both of them can do that role. But when you're in the middle of the field, easier throws are made. Travis Kelce balls like the touchdown, Rashee Rice over the middle of the field. All those little hitches, those slants, those deep over, like the middle of the field is where the plays are made. And that's where Sky Moore is not getting most of his targets for, in my opinion. So I think he will eventually get there at times, but they trust Sky Moore so much to play outside that you don't really get the targets that much. And the same thing with MVS. He gets 2 targets a game, maybe 3. That's what happens when you play outside a lot. Our offense is built to beat you in the middle of the field, in between the hashes. So that's why you see Rashee Rice getting so many targets. Travis Kelce leads us in targets for a reason. The middle of the field is where football's won. And Sky Moore doesn't get that opportunity to play anymore because they trust him so much outside. So it sucks for his production, but you could tell he's earned the respect to play outside. They don't put you out there if you don't know what you're doing. And that's one thing Andy said, and this offense is kind of leaned on for sure.
Yeah. I said it on Twitter. what's the kid supposed to do when he only gets 2 targets a game?
Exactly.
Like
Any receiver can't get going.
you can't. I can't do anything for you if you're only going to throw me the ball twice. And
Nobody
it
can.
kind of feels like within the pecking order that he's just like how there's some things that are forced targets. Like sometimes they're literally forcing the ball to Rashid. They're literally you've seen Justin Ross getting some kind of forced target. Early on, I think they were trying to get Sky into a rhythm with some of the bubble screens and things of that nature or whatever. And then it's just like they go away from that,
Yeah.
And it's just like if he can't ever get into a rhythm, what is he supposed to do for you? And then you're taking away from one of his best skill sets, which is like you said, playing inside in the slot. I like I told y'all last week, I don't know if I ever remember seeing him play on the outside in Western Michigan like that.
It was a little bit, but not this much. He's
Yeah,
almost outside all the
right.
time.
And I get, maybe he's earned that respect, but like if that's not his skill set, then why is he out there on the outside?
Exactly.
And somebody earlier asked me, well, where should he be? And I said on the inside, like kind of like a Julian Edelman type of role. Edelman killed people for years running slants, pivot routes, and
we know that
pitches.
firsthand. He's gaming, boy, man.
Right, and Brady and them had to evolve into that kind of offense where they were a lot more methodical and it was 10 play, 12 play, getting down the field, in those ways. And I think that's kind of what's kind of changed in this year is that it's not as explosive as it used to be. When we had a Tyreek now, but you got guys like a Sky who's a phenomenal route runner, and you're making him line up outside the numbers on the boundary like he's a jump ball receiver or something. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I think that's my biggest frustration with the Sky Moore thing is that I just feel like he's not being used right. And it sucks to see that because you can tell the kid has a lot of talent,
sure.
but you gotta put him in the right positions to use that talent. If you're not gonna do that, then what's the point?
Absolutely. So, all those little hitch routes that Rashid gets to run after catch, things in the middle of the field. Sky Moore can do all of that because we've seen it in flashes. But like you said, DG, we don't really get to see it that much. So if he goes through a whole game or goes through a whole half and doesn't get a target, people automatically assume you're not getting open. That's not necessarily the case. He may not just be getting a target because the plays aren't designed for him to win outside that much. Like I said, most of our plays where the Chiefs win or any of our pass catchers win, it's in the middle of the field. That's where most of our targets go. We're not really a downfield, outside of the target, outside of the numbers type of team. That's not what we do. So I want to see it as well. Hopefully we get there. And it's not just Sky Moore. Obviously, he gets a lot of the attention because we expect him to take that jump. But that goes for all the receivers. I want to see Justin Ross get more reps. I want to see Justin Watson get more snaps as well. But it's when you have so many receivers, it's like somebody has to suffer. Outside of Kelsey, nobody's really getting consistent like reps every week or every quarter. It's always one guy gets it here and there, then maybe sit, skip a drive, come back for 2 drives. It's kind of like musical chairs right now, trying to figure out who's the guy to get the consistent opportunities. We probably won't get those answers until the bye. So it's frustrating for now. And the same thing happened last year. After the bye, we got our answers and we actually got time to sit. And guys' roles started getting defined. Juju was our middle of the field. MBS was our deep shot. Mecole was our gadget type player. And everybody's role was defined in this offense. So it's just it's a blessing and a curse to have so much talent because you're giving everybody opportunities to play, but nobody gets in rhythm. So it's a long season. We got a lot more football to play, but having depth is important because you never know when guys may go down with anything. So knock on wood, but we just having multiple guys is great for injury concerns. But
I don't know. Did we lose him?
Oh, we back. My bad. Technical difficulty. My bad.
Sorry, y'all. Sorry.
My bad.
No. I think I want to for all the frustrations that we have with the offense and all the bickering and going back and forth. I got some stats for y'all.
Here we go.
9th in points. So they're still top 10 in scoring in offense. 7th in yards. Here's the big one.
Uh-oh.
They are first in third down efficiency.
Ooh. Say
first.
that one again. Say that one again, DG. Repeat
They are first
first.
in third down efficiency. I don't know if people know what that means, but the more third downs you convert, the more games
First
you
down, DG.
get. The more first downs you get,
Boy,
the
oh
more
boy. That's
games
with
you win.
Travis Kelce missing a game. Ugh.
Right.
Still number one.
Even for all their fuck ups on excuse my language, 3rd and 1s and 3rd and 2s, they are
All
still
that.
first
Still
in
number one.
third down efficiency.
That's why I'm giving
So
them the great, DG. It still looks good, even though it's not. We just have such high expectations. The
we're
numbers don't
spoiled.
lie. It's still number one. Like, I'm not making this up. That's why I'm not tripping on the receiving core, because we're still moving the ball. It's just not efficient like we want it to be. So
Right. Yeah. And it just, bro, in that sense, like when you see that stat, how does that make you feel? Like to see,
I
because
feel confident, honestly.
right, you like as a Chiefs fan, you should still, like I say all the time, we're spoiled. And like
Perspective, man.
we just gotta come to grips with this. Like we're spoiled. We're used to seeing them put up 30, 40 points. And and I always say, like, I take ugly wins over pretty losses any
Facts.
day. Because
Absolutely.
I've seen a lot of pretty wins. 2018, you had a lot of pretty wins, and it was,
Facts.
I mean, a lot of pretty losses, and it looked good. Putting up a lot of points or
Scoring
whatever.
points, but we were lose.
Yeah, but it doesn't equate to anything. So
Exactly.
now I'm glad they're more equipped to win these ugly games like they've been doing, uh, according to certain people in Chiefs Kingdom.
No, you know
So
how that goes. The offense is what moves the needle. That's what everybody wants to see. That's why we pay money to go in the Arrowhead. That's why they make the big bucks. But DG, I will say, we've been clamoring for a good defense in Chiefs Kingdom, and especially in the Mahomes era, for a
mhm.
long, long time. 2018 seemed like
You was
yesterday.
asking for an average defense.
You feel me? Just give me something that's top 15. And we got that in 2019. That's why we won the Super Bowl that year. And
Right.
now the defense we have now is not only top 10, it's even top 5 in certain categories. So this defense is playing out of their mind. I know it's not sexy or like the biggest thing that people want to see. But when
Right.
you have a defense playing this well, I need y'all to give Spags his flowers more. All them tweets, y'all be tweeting about the offense and that energy. Give some of that to the defense. They're playing at a high, high level right now while this offense is still
Yep.
figuring it out. And even to DG's point, we're quote unquote figuring it out, but we're still number one in third down efficiency like we were last year. We were
Right.
number one in red zone efficiency last year as well when we had that mid receiving core that everyone
Right.
was talking about. So I know it's not what we want it to be. I know it doesn't look pretty, but we're still winning ball game, DG. We're still 4-1, top of the AFC. We should be 5-0 right now.
Right.
It's not obviously what people want it to look like, but the numbers aren't lying. And we know what this offense is going to do when it comes November or December. So get all your takes out now, like frustrated fans. Like get it off your chest. I'm not trying to say you can't vent. Everybody's allowed to have an opinion, and we're all seeing the same thing, DG. So I'm not calling people crazy. All I'm saying is we've seen this story before, where the receiving core was new, a lot of new faces, guys getting integrated. But when it comes down to after that bye and guys get comfortable, we know what 15 does. We know what Andy Reid calls for this offense. I've seen this story. We have the best offensive line in football. Our run game has been great this year. We have a great tandem with Jet and Pop. And obviously, Travis Kelce is a little banged up right now, but that's why we have to get other guys involved. And I think that we're trying to do that. And you slowly see Justin Ross getting more snaps, Rashid Rice getting a lot more red zone targets. Guys are slowly getting more integrated in the offense. And I know it's frustrating for now, but like I said, it's only week 6, DG. We have so much more football to play. We have a lot more games left. But overall, this offense is still going to be themselves. I know it may not necessarily look like it on film, but we have a lot of time left to figure this out, man.
Yeah. Let's get to Thursday night, man. Chiefs and Broncos. Chiefs come
Donkey
on
week.
Right, short week, division game. Line is 10.5 for the Chiefs. Over under is 48, man. Short week. What do you do? What do you have to do to get a dub, man?
Short weeks are always tough, especially when you're playing division teams. They know you better than anybody else. So, the Broncos are going to come play their hearts out. They're going to give us the game of their life, like me and DG said. You know it's coming, bro. They played like trash last week. Obviously, they battled with the Jets at home and lost that game. And Breece Hall ran for like 177 yards. And did you see Robert Saleh at the end of the game? He walked up to Sean Payton. He whispered in his ear when he did the handshake. He said, "Stay humble." It was so petty, bro. I loved it. I loved every second of it.
Hey, man, for the Jets, you realize the Jets were an underdog going into that game?
crazy,
last
right?
week, like which was wild to me because I was like, how are the
I know the
Broncos
home
should be
team gets the
favored?
favorite, but Broncos should have been an even line for
Yeah, I was like, that's easy money, dog. Especially
no.
Nathaniel Hackett revenge game, easy money. But
That's crazy. Nathaniel Hackett revenge game is hilarious. But no, I took the Jets in the spread too, so that was
mhm.
funny. But no, it was definitely it's definitely been shocking to see how bad the Broncos are on defense this year. Coming into the season, I thought maybe we would drop a game in the division. I thought it would probably be to them because I
Yeah,
respect their defense and all the talent they have. With guys like Justin Simmons and Pat Surtain, and for them to be this bad, I know. I think Pat Surtain or Justin Simmons had a quote the other day saying we're not living up to our end of the deal. I'm like, bro, y'all are historically bad.
yeah,
Like the first 5 weeks, they've given up the second most yards in NFL history. Like
yeah.
they're terrible on
Right.
defense this year. And I know they lost Bradley Chubb. I know Vic Fangio's not there, but they still got a lot of talent on that defense. Randy Gregory, their new defensive end they signed from the Cowboys last year, they just traded him to the 49ers and they gave him a 5-year deal. So he's out of there. Frank Clark barely getting snaps. So it's kind of ugly over there in Denver country right now. So we got him coming in here on a short week. So we should be able to throw the ball. We should be able to run the ball as well.
Yeah,
Kind of get out of there to win. We don't have to light up the scoreboard, but if the
yeah,
opportunity present themselves, we definitely can. The next 3 weeks, we have a lot of opportunities to improve this passing game. With Denver twice, they're bottom of the league in passing yards. They're bottom of the league in points given up. Like they're terrible on defense. And we hit the Chargers in between those. So um, it's a good week to see us improve. We get some opportunities, but it's hard to see you blowing out division teams, DG, because they just know you so well, bro. It's like playing your little brother. They know everything you're going to do before you even try to do it. So I want to see us cover the 10.5, but I mean, we've gotten a turnover every game, so I think that trend continues. I definitely think we get a turnover this week, but
yeah,
I can't call it a 10.5, bro, because I've seen this story before where we get up and then like Pat in the Jets game does something stupid
yeah,
and lets a team back in the game where they're not supposed to. So
yeah.
I think we win the game. I think it's probably more comfortable than it should be, but I think we get close to covering the 10.5. I'll probably say 10. It'll probably be right at that. It'll probably be. I think
Yeah.
my score prediction was. I think I said 27-17. So it'll
Mhm.
probably be right at 10, like not over the 10.5.
Yeah.
So, but no, I think it'll be a close game for sure. It shouldn't be because I don't really see how they stay in this game. But like DG said, teams play their Super Bowl when they come play the Chiefs and Arrowhead.
Man,
So we're
only
gonna find
only
out.
only weird games against
It's
the
only us,
Broncos.
bro. It's only us.
Only weird games against the Broncos. I'm fully expecting the Broncos to ride in here and be well and pissed off about them
Exactly.
getting beat 15 times in a row and
I'm
hearing all
tired of
that.
hearing
Yeah, like
that.
I fully expect the Broncos to come out and try to be prepared to come into Arrowhead and get a dub. But
Absolutely.
I also expect our team to be fully ready for something of that nature. I think that's kind of probably been something that's been talked about in the locker room. You know, we're not taking these guys lightly. We're not allowing them to come in and win in our home stadium, protecting our home or whatever. So hopefully that's the message in the locker room. But I'm with you. I I think this is one of those games where it's comfortable, but it doesn't look as comfortable. You know,
You feel me?
like
It should be a friggin'
it,
smackdown beat down.
right.
But
I just know, like, bro.
I know, bro. I already know. It's just a
I
sluggish
told somebody
start.
I was like, this is gonna be like one of them games where the Chiefs win and it's 20-24-19 or
Yeah, something
whatever.
like
And yeah,
one possession game is gonna be like something crazy. Yeah,
right. Russ throws makes a couple mistakes at the end that just cost them really badly or whatever. So I
exactly.
just
And everybody knows
right. It's always weird games against the Broncos.
that.
Who do you though in this game would be somebody you would say would kind of be an impact player that you kind of looking forward to seeing perform in this game?
No, I think it's a big Pacheco week, man. And he's had some big games already. We saw him when he went to
Yeah.
Jersey and New York, and he went off. So, like I said, the Broncos are one of the worst defenses in the league right now. They're giving up, I think, an average of what? I think over 180 yards per game on the ground. So we just saw Brees Hall rush for 177 by himself.
Yeah.
So I think Pacheco is definitely due for a big game. If we're definitely giving out a prop, I would definitely love him for anytime touchdown. When we definitely giving out our betting spots this week. So it's a good week for a get right week, like we just said, for our offense, for everybody to improve, from Pat down to Trav to the receivers, the running backs. Everybody should have a chance to kind of like get like exercise those demons and get all the mistakes out the way and clean up. Kind of like we did versus the Bears. Come in here and
Right.
score points and leave with a dub and play good on both sides of the ball. So it'll be very interesting to see how we attack this Thursday because like you don't want to have to use Trav DG if you don't have to
Mhm.
because obviously he's banged up. The ankle is kind of injured. Like he practiced today, which is good. You know he's gonna gut it out. He's gonna try to play, but this is a week where we ran the ball efficiently, DG, and left the building with a, like I said, like a 24-20 or a
Yeah.
24-17 type win. I'd be happy with that because you want to give guys their time to rest and heal. So, and
Yeah.
if we can run the ball and just leave the building with a W, that's a good enough win for me.
Yeah. My player that I'm looking forward to kind of seeing perform in this game, and hopefully he gets a lot more targets in this game, would be Noah Gray. I think I think that his role really just needs to be increased, especially because I kind of have a feeling that the Broncos are going to try to do everything they can to kind of test Travis Kelce, test that ankle,
Right.
make sure that he's fully healthy. I expect them to try to have a big plan and try to take him out of the game and making one of these other guys beat you. And I think that Noah Gray is going to have to be kind of one of those guys that steps up and make some really big plays for us. I'm not expecting him to have like 100 yards or anything of that nature, but having some very impactful plays, maybe on the third down, something like that helps us win this game. So hopefully we can get that from Noah. And hopefully they give him a little bit more of the target share with Trav being a little bit banged up coming into this game. So
Just like
um,
Jets League, I would like to see Noah get involved too because he made
yeah,
a big play. He's making big catches, so we
right.
need to have a Noah game for sure. And I wouldn't mind it this week.
Right, yeah, yes. You say your score prediction is what?
27-17 Chiefs, man. I think the under hits and we don't cover. So Thursday games usually ugly anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
and like this defense is so bad. And I would love to see nothing more than us to go out there and put a 40 ball on their head. I would love to see that. But like to me and DG's point, every time we get our hopes up, it doesn't happen. It's always the games we don't expect to do it that it does
All
happen.
right.
And in the games we expect us to go crazy, we don't. So
Yeah.
I don't think, and I'll say I would gladly be wrong on this one, but I think it's a 10-point win and the under this week. I think that's what we do.
I usually don't do score predictions, but I'll go 26-19. I don't
That's
know
good.
why 19 is feeling, but
It'll
I
be a
thought,
one possession win. Like I said, it'll be
yeah,
comfortable, just not too comfortable. You feel me? It'll
yeah.
be right in the middle. So
It's definitely gonna be one of them games where you're gonna be sitting there kind of frustrated because you're like, we should be killing them right now.
smacking them.
But
You feel me?
of course, as always, Thursday night games are always weird. To me, it's just a too short amount of time to try to get ready for a
But
game, especially not only physically but mentally as well too. Like
a lot, bro.
I just seen in the presser today, Justin Reed was talking about as soon as they got on the plane, they were already kind of on to the Broncos or
Yeah,
whatever and watching film. So that to me is like that's a really tough adjustment. You just won, you know, good win in Minnesota. You don't even have time to really celebrate that because now you're on to playing the next opponent or whatever. So
exactly.
it's definitely a tough situation. But hey, man, you got to line up and play who's in front of you. So hopefully they can go out there and execute, get a win, and then get 10 days rest or
Man,
whatever,
just
and be
start the
able to
week
get off
after
the
that.
feet. Yeah,
Yep.
it's huge, definitely for this part of the year. I'm glad that this game is early in the year or whatever, and so they can go ahead and get it out the way or whatever, and get that
Exactly.
rest and kind of get a little mini bye week. What,
Having a Thursday game at home is way better than on the road. So I'll take
man,
it.
tell me about it.
Man,
Do you want to get into power rankings for the
let's
week?
do it.
Week
Let's do it.
5 power rankings. So last week from week 4, of course, again, I don't think number 1 is ever gonna change anytime soon. The San Francisco 49ers are
Shocker.
the best team in the league, man. They're the most complete team in the league. CJ,
Fact.
how you feel about the Niners, bro?
They've earned the right, man. They've been playing good football all year. They beat the mess out of the Cowboys on Sunday night. No debate who number 1 is right now. It's definitely the Niners. Shout out to San Fran for sure.
Right. Yeah, man. What I'm seeing from them is just dominant on both sides of the ball.
Very dominant.
Physicality is there on both sides of the ball. They really impose their will on other teams. We've seen with the Cowboys. I really think that matchup is it looks like a psychological thing, man. Like
They
they
keep
just
they
gotta yeah. they just got a psychological effect over them right now, and I think they're the bullies right now.
They definitely the bullies on the block.
In that case. But man, what Kyle Shanahan is doing with that team right now, especially with Brock Purdy, for all the people out there that's saying that anybody could step into that role and do what Brock Purdy is doing right now, that's cap.
Cap.
That kid, I know that kid is not as flashy as people, would like to see, or he's not the making the plays like a Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or whatever. That kid's decision making is elite.
Facts.
And I think them being able to pair that with Kyle Shanahan's play calling is making for a beautiful, beautiful recipe at this point in time. So if he continues, like I said, in the offseason, I think as long as he continues to play that way and not turn over the ball for them, it's lights out for them. And I think absolutely. They're definitely going to be a dangerous team come January and February, and that might be who you might be seeing to try to get another Lombardi.
I don't see anybody else playing in the NFC Championship game besides the Niners and whoever else is there. So they definitely earned the right to be the best team in the league for sure, no question.
Right. So a little bit of a shakeup at 2. Who do you feel like should be put at this 2 slot right now?
It's a conversation for a lot of teams. It's probably a 2-team option. I could see either us or Philly being right here, right now, and I wouldn't be mad either way. I'm gonna be unbiased. I'm gonna give the edge to Philly because, like you just said, they've handled their business. All their wins haven't been the most pretty, but at the end of the day, they got a 0 in the L column. So I'll give Philly the 2 spot right here. What you got, DG?
I would go with Philly as well too. Like I said, I think they've been more complete, I feel like, than we kind of have been at this point in time. Especially, I know that there's been some talks with their offense and having some struggles, but in my opinion, their ability to run the ball at any point in time,
push.
Right? Yeah. That's my favorite.
Push going crazy right now. DG's gone. All right, guys. So I had my one technical difficulty. DG had his. So it's part of the thing. But we're going to get this figured out. We apologize. We're definitely going to get this fixed. Hopefully DG's back. Oh, never mind. He's gone. Oh, all right. I'm here by myself. Nope, DG's back. Sorry about that. We're having technical difficulties. We apologize. Come on, DG. Nope. He said, psych, pump fake again. Nope, he's back. All right, DG, this is not funny. This is playing with people's minds here. If not, we may have to cut the show. Chuck and the country don't pay us enough. We don't got enough money. We need more money. We need more help. All right, DG, I'm gonna give you one more time, bro. If not, I'm about to tell the good people who are listening to us to have to catch us next week on our next episode.
I'm back, but I can't get on camera.
It's all good. Chuck coming in to save the day.
I'm gonna come in and hop in and help close out the show, man.
Chuck, come in because DG tried to. If not, we get Chuck. DG, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear y'all.
Oh, okay. We can finish there. All right. So you have Philly at 2. Who we got at 3?
Yeah. DG went out, but anyway. At number
never
3,
mind, DG. No.
At number 3, it'll have to be us, man.
I'll give us 3. I'll give us 3.
I think
I'll give us 3. 4-1. We should be 5-0. Hasn't been pretty, but at the end of the day, I don't think there's too many more teams playing better football than us right now. So I'll give us 3 for sure. Who we got at 4?
At number 4, I mean, it's tough. I mean, I had it between like 2 AFC East teams personally.
Yeah,
I'll probably go stick with Buffalo, and it's only because they beat Miami, right? Yeah. Miami, they have looked great, you know what I'm saying, but it's been more so against inferior competition. The Bills. They've had better quality win. Like we mentioned, Miami, Jacksonville. They just matched with them really well. So that's the deal with them.
That flight killed them because Buffalo looked so sluggish last week. So for sure, absolutely, I'm cool with Buffalo being 4. Could have made an argument for Miami, but like you said, if they beat them in the head-to-head, you got to give them the spot for sure. So yeah, I'll give it to Buffalo at 4. 5.
And then Miami probably right. And then at number 5, you got to think because Miami it looks pretty. It looks good, but then you also got the Detroit Lions in the NFC North. They 4-1 too. They look pretty good.
4-1 to Detroit, Miami. Who has a? I mean, Detroit's biggest win would be beating us. That would be their biggest win of the season. It's probably their biggest win. Miami beat Buffalo. They played Buffalo, and then they beat the Donkeys bad. Yeah, it's kind of. I'll probably give it to Detroit if I had to pick somebody, just because they're doing things that we expect them to be good, but they're winning a lot of games in fashions that it's still the Lions at the end of the day. So I know it's not the most interesting team to talk about, but they're a team that we projected to win their division. Like you said, they're one loss away from being undefeated. And they're doing this with guys in and out the lineup. Jameer Gibbs didn't play this week. Amon-Ra St. Brown missed this past week. Didn't miss a beat. Went out there and beat the hell out of the Panthers, as they should be. And beating teams you're supposed to beat are usually the games that are the toughest ones. So, because playing down to your competition and all that. So, I'll go Detroit here. I'll give them their respect for sure. They're definitely leading that division. Absolutely.
Yeah, like you can definitely clip a point between those two teams, but you definitely got to give Detroit some love here.
I'll give it to Detroit. Shout out to Dan Campbell and then kneecaps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that rounds out top 5 for me.
Top 5. All right, who we got at 6?
So
it's
Miami then.
Miami at 6. That's cool.
So,
we had our stars. We got 1, 2. So we had San Fran, Philly, us, Buffalo, Miami, Detroit, Miami. Okay, that's 6.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got 7, 8, 9. Who we got left?
Right, this is gonna get some really dicey here because I really don't want to say the Steelers. Because here's the thing, man. Like,
it's a jumble of teams right here. It's like a little jumble.
Yeah, man. Because here's the thing. Like, the Steelers, honestly, they have no business being on top of the AFC North right now.
I can't believe they won.
You gotta give TJ Watt the Defensive Player of the Year award right now, just based off of that.
Bro, they really won that game. Oh my god.
He's won the 2 games. He's won them 2 games off of that alone. So.
No fact.
And then
I can't believe they won.
And then, like, I'm trying to think of another NFC team, man. Like,
there's so many teams right in this little area. Because, like, Baltimore could be in here. Detroit's playing. Jacksonville. I mean, I know
Seattle's cool.
Seattle's won some games. Yeah.
The Colts, they've come along pretty well.
Yeah, that was one of our sleeper teams. The Texans had some respect. That was our star team at 10 last week. So, yeah, this area, there's like a lot of teams in this spot right here that could be in this. Like you said, Baltimore, Detroit, Pittsburgh is in this conversation. Like, if it's between Pittsburgh and Seattle, give me Seattle. What do you think about between those two?
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with Seattle. I mean, that's probably where I have it at.
Yeah, I'll be cool with Seattle. If we wanted to put Pittsburgh in the top, that's so crazy after the way they started. But they beat Baltimore. It was disgusting. But how far does Baltimore fall? Are they out of the top 10? Or are they still a top 10 team to you? It's a bad loss. It was bad.
Golly, man. Like, they might be at 10 or they just on the bubble.
Because it was disgusting.
Right now.
Yeah, I'm cool either way, whether we put them in the 10 or not. But the way they're playing right now, and some of their fans have been just as critical as we're saying right now. They haven't been playing like a top 10 football team. So they may have to put them in there by default, because like I can't put the Saints over them. Like I can't put like you said, like the only team I probably like the Texans. I know they lost to the Falcons, but they played good football up to that point, and like they really were in that game. They just couldn't close it out. So I would go Seattle here. I guess I gotta go Pittsburgh after that. Then Baltimore.
I'm gonna say Indy. I'm gonna say Indy over Pittsburgh.
I'm cool with Indy. Yeah, take them out. Put Indy. It's this quad right here. There's 4 spots is tough because there's so many teams, man.
Because Jacksonville. Here's the thing with Jacksonville, man. Like, for one,
they beat
only
Buffalo.
one guy.
Yeah,
they did. That was a great win. But my thing with them was this: there's only one guy who's been able to successfully get to the quarterback. Everybody else has been disappointing as far as getting to the quarterback. And then Trevor Lawrence has been erratic as heck with the football. It's like
he's been up and down
every
this year,
game.
sure.
Yeah,
which is crazy because you have all these receivers. Why do you have so many turnovers? That's terrible. Yeah. And I know, like, we've had some talks with Spody, who's our resident Jacksonville fan on Twitter. And I know we always going at it, but Trevor's been very underwhelming this year. And a lot of us, even in Chiefs Kingdom, we were picking Trevor to be an MVP candidate. Calvin Ridley in the building, second year in Doug's system, bringing in all those weapons back. And like you said, he's been very underperforming this year. And they're still winning games, not knocking him too much. But for his play specifically, he hasn't been playing as well as I thought they would play. So it's definitely, it's splitting hairs at this point for these last 4 teams, because I thought Houston was pushing to be a top 10 team. And obviously they lost to Atlanta this past weekend. But C.J. Stroud's been balling out of his mind, playing like the offensive rookie of the year right now. So that's another guy that could be in a conversation. And there's some other teams that you could put in this spot, but it's probably like Baltimore by default because I can't put like the Titans over them or the Saints or all these other teams. Like Baltimore probably in the top 10 just by default because there's not that many teams in the league really who can say they're above them. Honestly, like outside the Colts, and Colts are playing good football right now. That division is really exceeding expectations. I didn't expect them to be that good, honestly. So yeah, I'll be cool with putting the Colts right there. And if we round it off with Houston, I think that'd be the last spot for that to round off the 10.
Yeah, this
outside?
really is this 7 through 10 is really like a bowl of gumbo, bro. Like
It really is like so many teams. Facts.
Can we put are the Bengals back?
Not yet. You beat the Cardinals. Yeah, not yet. Good job. You beat the Cardinals, but calm down. You beat the Cardinals. So let's relax.
There's people telling me that they're back.
One game doesn't make you back. Calm down. You still have 3 losses.
Probably just a fan base.
They said Joe Burt was out there spinning.
Yeah, I mean, I will give him his credit. He did look healthy. Gave the ball to his number 1 receiver. Jamar Chase scored 3 times, so he did look healthy. I will give him that. But you got to win a couple more games in a row before you start seeing you're back. But hey, a good start. That's all they can ask for. So, but I mean, it's where's Tampa in this conversation? Are they out of it, or they were playing the ball at first?
Fraudulent.
They in the mix.
Fraudulent.
You think they're fraudulent? Why, DG? Why are they frauds?
Baker.
Why? So Baker's a fraud.
I don't believe in Baker, man. I'm sorry. Like, I just
believe in him, like make the playoffs, or believe in him to like do something like win the division.
I think they're good enough to make the playoffs, possibly. But
me too, especially in the NFC for sure.
I just feel like when he gets down to real football, Baker's gonna Baker. Like,
no, I feel you. I mean, they've had some tough matchups. They still got some. Yeah. Absolutely. The foundation of that defense that we played in the Super Bowl is still there. Like Devin White, Levante, overall the guys at Winfield's still there. So most of those guys are still on the roster. Exactly. All those guys are still there. Obviously, they're not the peak of where they used to be, but still a good roster. You still got 2 All-Pro receivers in Mike and Chris Godwin. So I know Baker's not the most talented quarterback in the league. I'm not defending him in no way, shape, or form, but that team has too much talent for them to like not at least be in the conversation, like me and Chuck just said. And like I said, it's splitting hairs at this point because a lot of teams could be up in this area. Like Green Bay was playing good ball until the last couple of weeks. They've lost a couple of games, and obviously Pittsburgh found a way to get probably the most improbable win after Baltimore dropped 3 touchdowns. So this area after 8 is, or probably I say 7 or 8, like me and Chuck said, is a fall off. It's almost like just put whoever you want out there. So top 10 is more than almost looking like a top 5. DG. It may not. It's kind of hard to make the bottom 5. So
right.
Yeah. Overall, no, it's been a good season so far. Definitely want to see a lot of guys' teams improve, but so far so good. We got a lot more work to do ourselves in Chiefs Kingdom, so definitely looking forward to Thursday and seeing what the boys do, man.
Yeah,
that's right.
Absolutely. Well, all right, DG, you got any closing remarks for the fans? You want to tell
them? Yeah, man. Sorry for the technical difficulties, y'all.
Stuff don't pay us enough. We need more money. We don't get paid enough money out here. We're struggling. We're sorry. We apologize, Kingdom. We apologize.
But as always, man, y'all can always find me, Keep It Prolific on Twitter. Down to talk anything football, fantasy, gambling, whatever you want to talk about or whatever. I'm always in the spaces as well too. Catch me on Sports After Dark, Spinning the Tunes after every game. I think we're on Thursday, Monday, Sunday nights.
Prime time.
Yeah, come in there, talk to us, man. Get your takes off or whatever. It's a dope space. Yeah, man. Go Chiefs. That's all I pretty much got.
You guys can definitely find me on Twitter at CGZ81, CJEEZY81. Similar points to DG if you want to talk gambling advice, fantasy, X's and O's, football, anything. I'm always open. Shout out to Chuck for giving us his platform. Shout out to Kingdom Cash. Shout out to Country. Shout out to Wayne. Shout out to the whole crew. Kylie, D-Mac, everybody. I appreciate y'all, man. I love y'all.
Yeah. D-Mac should be back next week.
D-Mac on PTO. Chuck said he only get 1 week off. So.
Yeah. D-Mac is currently here, but yeah, you can catch me on my usual platform on Kingdom Cast. I just had to come in and save the day a little bit because DG had technical difficulties. But yeah, you can catch me on Kingdom Cast tomorrow. Actually, so far as me and Boogie, Kylie, she's not gonna be here. She's not gonna be there. Of course, we already mentioned D-Mac. Country, he's out of commission as far as like his technological difficulties right now.
I may have to come in off the bench, say today, I got you, Boog. Hey, Boog, give me a jersey. I'm ready, coach. You feel me?
Yeah,
Put me in.
if you're able to come on the
Put me
bench
in.
tomorrow, CJ, we're glad to have
Hey,
you tomorrow, bro.
put me in, coach. I'm pulling that John. You feel me?
All right, bet. So CJ gonna be on the show tomorrow too. So yeah,
Gang.
it'll be us three so far.
You feel me? We outside.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, until then, until next time, Chief Kingdom, this is episode 3. I'm CJ, that's Chuck, that's DG. We appreciate y'all for tuning in and tell the truth. We're going to see y'all next week.
Yes, sir.
Peace.